Hey, yo. What's good,
Yo.
man? We are back with another episode of IBTE Sports Podcast. You got your boy Lawrence, Kenny, Phil, and Neil.
Yeah.
How y'all doing? How y'all living, man?
Feeling good?
You feeling good?
I'm feeling
That's
good.
it. Oh shit.
Have you just showered the champion off yet?
No. No. I'm a champion until Super Bowl 2023.
Okay.
Then we'll talk about maybe not being a champion, but I think we'll run it back. So
Thinking running back. Okay. Phil, how's your week been going, man?
Pretty good. Had a All-Star weekend was somewhat entertaining, minus the trash dunk contest, but got some
Trash
good
is
news.
trash is an understatement.
bad.
Cancel the dunk contest.
Cancel that shit.
Like, if the only four willing participants are those four participants, say we're just going to sit this year out, I would have had more respect.
Bro, well, Obi Toppin, bro.
Obi Toppin, bro, yeah.
He had like one good dunk. That's it. Nothing else. Maybe one or two.
But it was only good because all the other dunks sucked.
But bright side of the whole weekend, me and Kenny put a bet on a very special tall 3-point shooter and want some money out of it. Shout out Carl Anthony Towns.
The odds are just too good to not.
He was last. He was on the bottom toll of all the bets. Me and Kenny chose him. Won some money out of it. So pretty good weekend.
I was still jet lagged, so I couldn't place any bets. I couldn't even see straight.
So you couldn't see straight?
No, I was all tired and shit. See, at my city, it was a different time than what was here. That's my city now. LA is my city.
Okay. We'll let you get to that in a second. Kenny, how are you? How's your week been going, man?
I can't complain, same shit, different day. Living life.
All right. So
You know why
now-
you can't complain, Kenny? Because you're a champion too. We claim you. You're claimed.
Oh man,
I'm not
This is
going that
dangerous.
far.
This
I'm
is
not going
dangerous. This is dangerous
He's
because
claimed.
boy, if this gets caught on film, it's
I'm
over.
not going- I'm
It's
not
over
going
for
that
Kenny.
Just say it. Yeah.
Talking
He's
about,
claimed,
right?
talking
No,
about he's
he's-
a Rams fan.
LA
Hell
Rams,
no.
baby.
I'm not going that far.
He's claimed.
I'm just proud of myself for
You got the pick right. That's all
that
that cares.
cold
That's all that
January
matters.
night,
He
talking
he's-
Neil off of a ledge and telling him they were going to win a championship.
He is claimed. Don't let him fool you guys.
He got the pick right. That's all that matters.
Well, it's been a good week for me, man. Positive. Gonna keep pushing forward. Neil, how's it feel, man? You were in LA.
Basking. I was in LA basking in championships in the city of champions. It was something special, man. Let me tell you.
So what'd you do day to day? Take us through what you did through the trip. Before you say that, did you take any pictures? Did you capture any memories?
Yeah, I took like 2 or 3 pictures. Yeah.
Oh, it's better than nothing.
Wow, that's amazing right there.
Well, I
In his defense-
posted stuff on Instagram stories.
In his defense, the video he did show was
Damn.
arm to arm with people. It was probably pretty hard to get more.
Dude, I
pictures.
couldn't move at the
Yeah,
parade.
so in his defense, I got to give him that one.
Rams won't be back in Super Bowl next season, but congrats, they still trash. Okay, that's fine.
Who's a Niners fan?
Well, you guys don't even have a quarterback, so we'll talk. We can talk next season. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing, man. I mean, the parade was crazy. There was like, I don't know, 25, 30,000 people at the parade. I was literally arm to arm and face to face with thousands of Rams fans. It was crazy. I saw all the Rams players. I wasn't too close, but I wasn't too far either. They were fucking hammered, spraying Bel Air all over the place. It was crazy, man. It was awesome. It was awesome. And the best part of the trip, honestly, like the parade was cool, but like, it was kind of hard. I couldn't really drink because there was really no like anything readily available. So I was just kind of standing there sober, screaming. But the best part of the trip, I mean, honestly, for me, it was the Lakers game. Because not only did we got to catch like one of the best Lakers games of the season.
Yep.
Like we got lucky as fuck.
He followed Aaron Donald there to talk him out of retirement.
And AD was there. And Robert Woods was there. Like they were right there at the game, sitting courtside. I saw them better at the game than I seen them at the parade.
And you got to see GOAT do GOAT things.
Bro, it was crazy. Like we were down, like the Lakers were down 14, and Belle's first basketball game ever. She went with me and she was like, "Is the game over? Can we leave?" I was like, "No, we're not leaving."
If we leave by the third quarter, we won't catch the traffic.
There wasn't even any traffic. It wasn't even that bad.
Plus Lakers
But
games, so yeah.
yeah, but it was crazy. Like all of a sudden, LeBron just daps up AD and gets the superpowers that AD has, and I watched AD's ankle break. That was cool. Anthony Davis's ankle break. I meant not Aaron Donald.
Not
You would fake
The fake AD. The fake AD.
The fake AD.
You had a heart attack in the crowd.
Man. I don't know. The trip was crazy, man. If anybody ever has a chance to get out to LA, definitely take the trip. Santa Monica, we went to the pier in Santa Monica, saw the beach. It was awesome. The weather's amazing. I got fucking sunburned. Like, of course.
really can't tell.
My white ass was gone now.
Yeah,
I was cooked. I got cooked up.
I heard
Maybe
you
the
were on
lobster.
at Skid Row looking for places to live.
I was hanging out at Skid Row.
Skid Row.
I was looking for a tent. I heard Costco had tents pretty cheap, so I went there to look for some tents because I was just trying to camp out.
He said, "I'm not going back home."
But listen, I mean,
I'm not fucking leaving.
just coming from New York. I mean, I've seen the New York City and shit, and let me tell you, California's got a lot of work to do. LA is crazy. I mean, there's like 10, 15 homeless people per block. The city itself is dirty as fuck.
nothing
Like, I'm
is
talking about garbage everywhere, like dirty, and it smells so bad. Like, if you think New York City stinks, go to downtown LA. Like, you will.
Yo, Jared. Yeah, Jared. We're gonna be talking about Zion in a little bit.
Yeah, we gonna let's get fuck the trip. All right, that was last week. Rams
Why
won
don't
the
we
Super
start
Bowl.
with that, to be honest with you?
NFL season's already over. We got.
I just wanted to give him his words. You feel
That's
me?
all I got to say right there. LA champions, Rams champions, Super Bowl fucking champions. We're gonna run that shit back too. Fuck all you 49ers pussy ass fans. Fuck the Seahawks fans. Fuck the Cardinals fans.
being clipped, just
All
a heads
right.
up.
Fuck all
That's
you
being
pussy ass
clipped 100%.
bitches. We get the team back. We running it back. Von Miller,
I'm
AD,
flipping
Sean
that.
McVay, OBJ comes back. We're running it back. Let's go.
Holy shit! All right. All right, so we're gonna segue perfect. Jared, you asked a question
got a
about
straight on
Zion. We're gonna talk about Zion, man.
Let me go.
Is Zion?
Where are you going? Are you leaving?
Is
No,
Zion? Is
Oh,
Zion
go
gonna
first,
stay?
go
Can he talk to us? Can he sound like he got something on
Well, no,
to get off his chest?
I feel like I told anyone who would listen when they were coming out of the draft, Zion,
yeah.
Ja, and RJ, that out of the three, Zion's game translated to the NBA the least, and he would have the least successful career. And I was told that was at the same time.
His game was based off purely athleticism, which
It was-
in
it was
college he
volleyball.
was.
I told you guys, I said he's going to be Julius Randle because that's what his game was in college. He was just
did this
bigger than
last
everybody, so he was better than everybody. His
Julius
game
Randle
does
has a
not
jump shot.
translate to today's NBA. His jump shot it's not a consistent jump shot. He's overweight. He relied super heavily on being able to jump out of the gym, and when you're overweight and you have bad knees and bad feet, you are not going to be able to jump out of the gym for 15 years. It was never going to work. John Morant is clearly the better player in that draft class. Like I said, even RJ Barrett's going to be a better player in that draft class. And Zion looks like he has no will to even get in shape to get back on the court.
Well, now he hopes that he could be the half the player that Julius Randle is.
Yeah, that's-
honestly.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, what
Julius
we saw
Randle's
Julius
almost
Randle do
He
last year.
said,
is
what team do you think he's gonna go to?
I don't even know if he's going anywhere is the thing, because I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, what am I giving up for
So-
Zion right now? I haven't seen him play in a year.
Well, the trade deadline's over, so he's finishing this year in New
Yeah.
Orleans.
Rumor is that they think he's going to the Knicks and he's basically going to replace Julius Randle.
No.
But
But
they've said-
I think
the rumor was he
Randle's
was going to the
a
Knicks
monster,
forever.
man.
They said he was
Randle's
going
a
to the Knicks
monster.
out of the draft. They said
Randle's
that-
all right. I mean,
He's not going to listen. This is what's going to happen. All right,
Right.
the city. I mean, that team drafted him. I think they're going to try to make it work, no matter what. I mean, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think he wants to play basketball anymore. I think he wants to collect his money. I think he wants to start a podcast or do some other shit because that boy is way too fat to want to play basketball. I'll tell you that right now.
He
Has
never
anybody
wanted to go to
seen
NBA.
him lately? Or I haven't seen.
I haven't
him
even
lately.
seen him on the sidelines.
The closest thing we have is the Mountain Dew commercial with Zach LaVine. That's the closest thing we have.
And also,
what-
you know, the biggest thing for me, if you're on that team right now, if you're a fan of that franchise right now, you just traded for one of the top 30, 40 players in the NBA, right?
Yep.
And for Zion
Like
to
JJ
not
Redick
even,
said.
he said this on
Yeah,
first
yeah.
take.
Yeah, he
Like
said
for-
he said it multiple times.
Like for you to not even text him, like
That
that's
shows
just
you're not into it, bro.
a
Yeah.
true bucket getter. My man has had 25
Like, and
plus
I don't
since
think
he got
it was-
off the flight
I
in
don't
New
think
Orleans.
it was with malicious intent, but I think that just showed you his head is not in basketball. Like, it wasn't even like a thought of it. Like, oh wow, we got like he's out of sight, out of mind right now.
But I feel
When
like
when he was
I-
at Duke,
go
he
ahead.
wanted to come back to college. Like, he didn't want to be in the NBA. Like, people don't even remember that. Like, Coach K had to tell him you're not coming back to school. Like,
Right.
I don't think this is a kid that really wants to be in. Like, he's a kid that plays basketball because he's good at it, not because he loves it.
I mean,
Right.
to answer Jay's question, I personally, I mean, he's an NBA player, of course. I think he wants to play basketball. I just don't think. I don't think he wants to play in New Orleans. I don't think it's the type of basketball that he's used to playing, right? Like, he goes from big man on campus at Duke and then goes to – I mean, honestly, Lawrence, you've been in New Orleans. Is New Orleans a basketball city?
No.
No. So, I mean, he goes exactly. Like, he goes from – I mean, he goes from what is – I mean, honestly – I'm a Syracuse Orangeman fan, so I hate, it kills me to say this, but Duke has one of the richest college basketball histories in the history of the whole entire NCAA. So he goes from that to New Orleans. I mean, I just don't think that's what he wants to be doing right now. So maybe a trade is in the books for him. Maybe next year, maybe he gets released. Maybe something happens with that. But if he does do something crazy like that, I see him going to a more basketball-eccentric city, like maybe L.A., Clippers, maybe the Knicks, maybe even Charlotte to go back to his roots where he was in college. But yeah, right. I don't know if I see it working out in New Orleans for him.
I don't know. Go ahead, Phil. I'll let you go.
Okay, so for New Orleans, I mean, basically the trade for CJ McCollum, I think that just means they're starting to transition away from Zion because you have good players, good bucket getters in Ingram and CJ. And you have a very good underrated big man in Jonas Valanciunas. I think you try to trade for a better guard to upgrade from Devontae Graham or a better four. And I think that's what you do with Zion. I mean, I don't know who it is, but I think they'll get that. They're going to try to get that eventually.
If we had to pick a team that would be a good fit for him, there's such a small sample size.
His game isn't NBA. It's not an NBA game. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I watched him in college. He was a bully. He wasn't a basketball player. He was a bully. He was just
send him to the Rockets
and ram the ball down.
Send him to Portland.
Send him to Portland
or Houston.
I don't know if there is a set good fit because you have to change your team philosophy.
Yeah, it's just
I think he's personally done there because JJ Redick pointed out another thing is they sent out the season tickets for next year.
He wasn't even on it.
He's not even on the list for that.
It also could be because they don't even know if he's going to be healthy to play next year. So they don't want to be giving false advertisement.
Right, I mean, you already got like a good big man, like a big body, and Jonas Valanciunas, like maybe top 15, top 20 center in the league. I'd probably get maybe like a stretch four to help that Pelicans offense with McCollum and Ingram because those guys are good.
You also got to think, like, that's a good point, and you got to also think about the fact that it's going to take a lot of work to get back into basketball shape and to rehab his injury. Like, this is going to be what it takes to play in the NBA. And I think he's realizing it's not college, right? Like, he can't go out there, give 50% effort and win a basketball game and actually perform well. So now he's realizing.
He will get 40 put on his head if he goes out there half-assing it.
And he's realizing now he's got to actually work. He's got to rehab. He's got to be in the gym OD. And he doesn't. And you can tell by his body size right now, he does not want to do that. So, personally, I think it's a mental thing for him right now. I think he needs to get his head right first, and then we can see what he wants to do. But, I mean, for a fit for me, if I was looking at a team that might fit well for him, honestly, like I said, I think Charlotte might be a good fit for him. I think the Clippers would be a good fit for him.
Maybe the Knicks, last case scenario.
I mean, the Knicks don't really need somebody like him because, like Kenny said, they have Julius Randle already. I don't really see them trading Julius Randle for somebody like him. Julius Randle is a premier young guy in the league, and he's very good. Yeah. I wouldn't see Julius Randle getting traded for somebody like him.
What are you willing to give up for Zion at this point? Because there's so many unknowns too.
How many games has he played?
I was just to this point in his career,
he hasn't played a full season, right?
He's yet to play a full. He came into the league injured.
Nope.
Yeah.
He hasn't played a full. He's played what 40 games in the league.
He's played the same amount of games up to this point in his career that Greg Oden did up to this point in his career, and we called Greg Oden a bust and injury prone.
That's crazy.
So it's just my point, like. People want to defend Zion, and I'm not trying to bash Zion because he was the right pick. You had to pick if you had the number one pick, you couldn't not.
Nobody can foresee what happened, with this.
You had, even though I thought that the player is better than him, you could not pick him. Like you had to pick him. There was no way around it. But this is what happens when you take a guy like Zion.
Listen, I'm skeptical about people that their hoop mixtapes is nothing but dunking from the get go.
Remember, that's how
I just don't. I'm like, yo, is he gonna be able to shoot the ball when he gets to the next level?
For dunking on 5'11" kids in high school. Yeah, like I remember seeing his highlights all over YouTube for dunking. Then next thing I know, they say he's the number one player in the country getting recruited by Duke, and I don't know. I was mind blown.
What's his 3-point percentage? Can anybody pull that?
20-ish, 20%.
He had a couple good games. I'll give him that where he shot the ball well, but he's not a consistent 3-point shooter. Never has been his game, and it's not a thing.
Julius Randle is somewhat decent of a shooter.
You got it, Kenny?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just my thing. When I see the hoop mixtapes,
I mean, 33% is respectable for that position.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible.
And what did he shoot in college?
Was that top 50, top 75, I think?
Oh, yeah, Jay wants to know what he shot in college, too. Yeah, what did he shoot in college, Kenny? Because I remember him shooting it pretty good in college.
In college, his three-point percentage was 33% as well. But he didn't take a lot of threes in college either, obviously.
Yeah.
His game was, I'm going to bully you on down low.
Right.
But still, 33% for a power forward is pretty good.
100%. I'm trying to see how many he took. Let's say he only took 100 threes.
Yeah, I mean to say that his career is over, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have to disagree with that because I don't think so. First off, how many games has he played? Can anybody give me a number? Let me see. Let me look it up.
Yeah, probably.
He's played in 85 games.
85.
His career in New Orleans is probably
so
over,
that's in 2 years he's played.
Okay, wait, just to go back. So Zion for his whole game, it was 33 games. He's only attempted threes and made 24 of them. That was in college. So that's a very small sample. Yeah, it's still 33%, but it's not like he was shooting an extreme amount of three-pointers.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think
he's missed 86 games and played in 85. So he's missed more games than he's played in.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, you cannot base a guy's career off of this so far.
You better call JJ Redick up or something.
Like to kind of piggyback off what Jay said, I do think getting him around guys that like to play basketball, that want to play basketball, I think is a good start, which he has right now in New Orleans. If he embraces it, like Phil said, Jonas Valanciunas is very good. Jonas Valanciunas might as well be a top 6 center in the league right now.
You got BI too.
You got Brandon Ingram, who has played with the best players. I mean, he played with Kobe. He played with LeBron.
Right.
And you got CJ McCollum, who played with Damian Lillard, who was a top 75 player of the decade. So you got players around him right now. He just needs to embrace it.
He's a good 3-point shooter as well if he needs help with shooting.
I think he just needs to get his head right first.
He has to transform his game. Is it like perfect example is Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin knew I'm not going to be able to jump forever. He transformed his game. He became a complete player. If Zion is willing to do that, Zion.
Well, I mean, in the games that he did play in last year, or 2 years ago, whenever he played, I don't remember if he played last. Did he play last year?
Yeah, he played at the beginning. I believe.
He had to because he's played 85 games in his career.
Yeah,
okay.
He played in 61 last year and then played in 24 his rookie season.
Yeah, so he's averaging 26 points a game and 7 rebounds. So his game is not translating to the NBA. It's the fact that he can't stay healthy. So he may need to transform his game for his health. Like Kenny said, Blake Griffin couldn't jump. Right, exactly. He needs to transform his game in order to either needs to learn how to, cut better or, shoot better or dribble better, something in order to keep him out of the lane with 7-foot, 8-foot centers that are down there. Because like Kenny said, he's dunking over 5-foot, 6-foot guys in college. He ain't coming into the league and dunking over guys like Christian Wood. You know what I mean? He's going to get put on his ass, or he's going to get hacked and he's going to get injured. So he needs to learn how to play smarter. He needs to learn how to play safer. But I mean, he can definitely be a top 10, top 15 player in the league if he can stay healthy.
Right.
The question is if.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Or the biggest if is, does he even want to play basketball anymore? We haven't seen him, right? Where the fuck is he?
Heard from him. Right.
He's in Portland, I believe.
There's players
is he still rehabbing in Portland?
He's not out there. Like, you see guys injured out there taking shots before the game, sitting on the bench with their team at the end of the bench, cheering.
Even tweeting about the team or the game or misses, sending workout videos.
He's not even doing anything.
Wait, is he still rehabbing in Portland? That's the last time I heard that.
I have no idea, and that's the thing. We don't know. Like, there's no news about him. And it seems like the organization is trying to keep him out of the news for a reason, because I feel like he is probably about 400 pounds right now. And I think they're trying to keep him off social media, keep him out of the limelight for a reason. Because that man, the last we saw of that man, he looked not good. Like, he looked thick. And I think, I'm thinking he's looking either worse or it's not looking good.
All right,
you better buy some DC.
When Charles Barkley is saying it, I feel like I'm not that far off, because this is an all-time great who had the same build. Like, let's remember that. So if Chuck is telling you something needs to change. Something needs to change.
Yep.
Exactly.
Right. What did he say? Yeah.
Real heavy.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he's
real heavy.
Yeah, he's heavy.
Oh man.
Heavy on the heavy.
Players that talk about players and organizations that don't know if players are going to play, if they won't play basketball anymore. What about the Nets and the Sixers trade? What did y'all think, man?
I mean, coming from a Nets fan, at first I was kind of iffy about it, but then I looked at our team and I looked at our roster after the trade, and I would say it definitely worked out in our favor. The one thing we were surely lacking when it came to that team as it's constructed at this moment, KD's out, Kyrie can play 10 out of 24 games. You're lacking shooting and you're lacking defense heavy. And right away you get Seth Curry, who is shooting 45% from the three-point line this year.
The most
and
efficient Curry brother.
And you're getting Ben Simmons, who is the best, if not top 2, top 3 defensive players in the league. Right. Now, is Ben Simmons going to play? I don't know why he's not playing right now. Like Thursday or Friday, he should be playing. He's out of Philadelphia.
He's weeks away, I believe.
Yeah, weeks away. What the fuck? You trade.
He wasn't physically hurt. Like,
right. You trade James Harden. Yeah, I'm taking, and let's also look at it this way too. So yes, you get Seth Curry, a great 3-pointer, right? Great shooter, and he's a good, solid basketball player, good, solid shooting guard. Can play the point guard a little bit if you need him to. You get Andre Drummond.
He's the most underrated part of this trade.
That's the thing I'm saying.
That's the thing I'm saying. Listen, he went in the first 2 games. He had 33 rebounds or something crazy.
What was the game? What did he average when Joel was out? Numbers were crazy.
I think he had 19 one game.
Numbers were actually crazy.
He had 19 in the first game, and then he followed up with 14, and then had 7 in the third one.
Like that's why I was mind blown when I saw this trade go down. So I was like, they gave up Andre Drummond too. Like, are you crazy?
Yeah, I mean, he had 11-9, 11-19, and then 6-9 in the 3 games that he's been with the Nets so far. So, and you got a guy who has definitely been in the gym. You can see he's worked on his foul shot a lot. His foul shooting is not even close to as bad as it's been, and you can see he looks like a completely transformed player. And the defense, he brings the defense too. Like, he's a presence down low.
He can facilitate a little bit too.
Not saying that Nicholas Claxton can't be that guy, but Claxton he's 20 years old. He needs to put on a little bit more muscle still. And they've been trying to fill the void that Jared Allen left for years now. And I think Drummond is the right guy for that for right now. Now you look at the starting 5 when KD comes back. You got Kyrie, you got Seth Curry, you got KD, you got.
You said KD
Ben
twice.
Simmons.
All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, Ben Simmons. That's what I meant instead of KD. And then you got Andre Drummond at the 5. So.
And you could just rotate Joe Harris.
And then Joe Harris. I don't know if Joe Harris is playing basketball this year or not. His injury seems pretty bad.
From the playoffs?
He got hurt in the playoff game, and then I think there was a preseason injury as well that he had surgery on that.
So what do y'all think about Ben Simmons?
I listen. On this team, Ben Simmons doesn't need to do what he doesn't have to do. He does not need to shoot the ball. Right. Okay,
That's
you have a 6'8" point guard that can play all 5 positions. Don't care if you don't need to shoot the ball because you get him in the block. He can pass the ball out to Seth Curry, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant, and you got one of the best defensive players in the league.
Right. Yeah, I think this is a perfect fit for Ben Simmons because basically his role that he's good at, he's a playmaking 4 or 5, and with all the weapons around for Brooklyn. You could kick it out to Kyrie, KD, Harris, Curry, whoever, throw an alley to Andre Drummond. He's there to make plays, not shoot the ball. I thought this was a perfect fit for them. And as for the Sixers side, I think they lost the trade obviously because they lost their depth for shooting. And God forbid anything happens to Embiid, you guys have Paul Reed and Niang as centers, and they're both 6'7".
Okay, let's say nothing happens to Embiid.
Yeah.
What's saying that nothing's going to happen to Harden, who's been injury-ridden for the last 4 years?
Before we go into that, though, can you ever say a team lost the trade when they acquire the best player in the deal, though? Like, because you're saying, oh, if he gets hurt, well, then on the flip side, well, what if Ben Simmons doesn't play at all this year? What if Drummond gets hurt? What if Curry gets hurt? So just all things in a vacuum. If everyone stays healthy, everything works out. Can you seriously lose a trade if you acquired the best player in the deal. I'm not saying that either team really lost or either team won, but I think this was a win-win for both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally, I think the Nets won the trade. I think.
Yes,
I think we got the better package, and I think
got a good deal out of it. But let's not act like Philly got a bum.
No.
They got James Harden out of
it.
Yep.
For me, I just think that after the trade, I like the net how structured the Nets are more than the Sixers, because I think losing Curry and Drummond were like really big depth losses for the Sixers, because Danny Green's been streaky. Tobias Harris can't be trusted with that big contract. And I think Maxi's been great, but I just think Curry's too far.
The only depth they lost really, is Curry, because they did get Paul Millsap back. Now, granted, Paul Millsap is not Andre Drummond, but they do still have another big that they have as depth. So it was Curry. Right. So, and that's when you get the better player in the deal, you have to give up more. Like, that's what happens.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time too, they gave up Ben Simmons, who hasn't been playing for them. So it almost it breaks even.
Yeah, listen, you know what you're getting with Harden, right? Like if Harden plays, if Harden's mentally in the game, and if Harden's healthy, you get a top 5 player in the league.
Yeah. Plus, you know what the Philly strip clubs are getting in Harden, so they're about to make bank this year.
Honestly, if the mayor lifts this vax mandate. Which who knows, right? Who knows the way New York City's going? But that's what's keeping Kyrie off the court when they play home games, and that's what's hurting this team. That's what made. Honestly, I think that's why Harden left, because it's literally just Harden out there with G League players. If the mandate gets lifted, I don't see any reason why the Nets can't win the championship with this team. Now, granted, if it doesn't get lifted, I still think we can make it Eastern Conference Finals, but I think we lose to a Bucks. I think we might lose to a Sixers team, because there's just, if you go into a Sixers big three, say what you will about Tobias Harris, that's a big three. Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, and James Harden, that's a big three. And you go against KD, Joe Harris if he's healthy, Patty Mills, Ben Simmons. You got to play 7 games.
If Patty Mills wants to show up,
right? Exactly. You got to play 7 games. So
Patty
and just talk about the mandate quick. I just kind of don't understand the concept behind it, because if I am a player from
doesn't
Ohio
make sense. Makes no sense.
I'm not vaccinated.
Yeah, Adam Silver, I think, made a case about that as well.
Yeah, it makes, if you're protecting the fans, then nobody that is non-vaccinated should be able to play.
And I'm not saying I'm one way or the other for a guy. If you're going to have it, it makes it.
Oh, shit.
They're back to my videos.
Yeah,
you're lagging a little bit.
It's getting to the point now. It's getting to the point now in this whole COVID thing where it's like, all right, whatever. You know what I mean? You've had your chances to get the vaccine. You've had your chances to get the booster. It's kind of starting to wear itself out a little bit, and it's like, listen, man, if he's not going to get it, he's not going to get it. It's against what he believes in. It's against whatever. Is it stupid? Is it foolish? Is it ignorant? Yes. But at the end of the day, what Kyrie Irving did this season is nothing less than selfish, in my opinion. It hurt the team a bunch. I personally, like I said, I think you lost Harden because of it. You might lose KD in this offseason because of it. So,
is he free agent after the season? Or opt out?
He probably has the player option.
He has the player option, I think.
Because they're starting to do that 2-year.
Not even that. If players don't want to be there, they just don't show up and get traded. So
you gonna borrow James Harden's pass?
It's a standoff.
Yeah, but there's nothing else to be said about the whole COVID situation now. It's over with for him.
Yeah,
it's either they lift the mandate, or the Nets don't win the championship this year, and possibly lose 2 premier players in 2 years.
If you're the Nets, do you want to have the 5th seed and no higher, because you don't want to play majority of games because you're not going to have Kyrie? Think about that. If you're the 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed, you're going to get 4 home games, and that means Kyrie can't play in 4 of your playoff games.
Yeah,
they're going to be very strategic
about it. So do you purposely try to
lose this game
below the 5? Right, what's better?
Well, it's or what you might see, which this happened in LA the day I got there. When I got to LA, they lifted the mask mandate that they had, because in LA County, you had to wear a mask outside. Say what you will about it, but that was the rules. If you were outside, you had to wear a mask. Even you still had to wear a mask inside places, but outside, just walking around, you had to wear a mask. The day that I got there was the day of the parade. of course, 12 o'clock in the morning, the mask mandate for being outside wearing a mask was lifted because, of course, they want the tourists and the revenue that comes from 25,000 people being in downtown LA. They don't want to wear masks, so they're going to come down there and spend their money. So now you got, let's say the Knicks make the playoffs, and let's say the Nets make the playoffs. Let's say they lift that vax mandate.
Bing bong.
So you never know what's going to happen.
He said bing
The
bong.
other option that everyone forgets, the Nets can just pay a fine for every game Kyrie plays.
Right. I think it's like 1,000 and 5,000.
So if it comes down to I need Kyrie to win this game to get to the finals,
Right.
I'm probably going to pay the fine.
Right. Yeah, we'll see.
Put it on the top.
We'll see.
Oh man. Struggling teams, man. Struggling teams. LeBron and the Lakers. The laundry list. The laundry list of nonsense that's going on. Do you guys think? First off, what are their issues, and do you think they'll make the playoffs?
Yes, they're going to make the playoffs. The issues, you take the S off. There's one issue, and his name is Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis is healthy, we're not having a conversation right now about the problems with the Lakers. It's a very simple thing. Everyone wants to blame Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is is the player that Russell Westbrook was before you traded for him. What did you think Russell Westbrook was coming to LA to do? If you thought it was anything different, you're stupid. The problem is Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. If Anthony Davis is on the floor, we're not talking about what's wrong with the Lakers today.
Right. What about you, Phil? You think they're gonna make the playoffs? They're sitting at what, 9, right? I believe they're at 9.
9 or 10, yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I completely agree with Kenny. People, are blaming Westbrook where they're not even glancing at AD.
Yeah, they're at 9.
The man hasn't been, the same player we saw in the bubble. Defensive presence, rebounds. He's not been healthy enough to play games. And you need that third star because LeBron can't do everything. So yeah, once AD's back, and I think they also need to be better defensively as a unit. And AD helps a lot with that. I think they'll definitely be a lot better. And then apparently, I've talked to a couple, Westbrook fans and Westbrook fanatics here and there. Second half is always Westbrook's best season out of the whole season. So hopefully that can, bring some noise for LA. But
yeah,
as a Celtics fan, I hope they tank. So
I'm gonna have to. I mean, it is what it is with that team right now. If Anthony Davis can't stay healthy, what the fuck is the difference? He hasn't been healthy ever since he stepped foot in the NBA. So you should. The team is not built correctly. You know what you have in an Anthony Davis, okay? You pay this big fat contract out, you super max him out, and the guy can play 40 games a season. Now, if you look back through his whole season, his whole career, it's the same thing. He cannot stay healthy. Even look in college, he got hurt because he's just not built for this league. He's not built to play 86 games. So you need, as a GM, as an owner, you need to know that, and you need to build around him. You need to build players, develop young stars, develop big men that can play behind him. You need to give LeBron another option. Yes, Russell Westbrook is an option, but Russell Westbrook is not OKC triple-double Russ anymore. Russell Westbrook has lost a lot of bounce. Russell Westbrook has lost a lot of juice. Sure, he has it some nights, but he's not the guy that's going to come out and give you 25, 10, and 8 every night.
He's also a terrible off-ball player as well.
And let's be real, honestly, because LeBron pushed hard for Russell Westbrook. LeBron, in my opinion, wanted Russell Westbrook because LeBron can't leave the floor for the Lakers because they had no other playmaker. Bringing in Russell Westbrook allows for the Lakers to have a playmaker when LeBron is off the floor. So LeBron and Russell Westbrook are really not supposed to be playing together as much as they are. Well, when Anthony Davis is not available, you have to put your two best players on the floor at the same time.
Also, if you're looking at the team, Rob Pelinka fucked this team up when he didn't make a single trade at the trade deadline. You know what you were surely lacking. You have Carmelo Anthony who's 40 and can't play anymore. I mean, he's hurt. Let's it is what it is. Kenny, I know you love Melo, but he's hurt. And he's not the Melo that we know and this Melo anymore.
Sure, he gives you 3 of those performances a year.
He can come out and give you 15 every maybe once or twice a week. but he's hurt, and that's your other scoring option.
Yeah.
Sure, yes, you have Malik Monk. Don't get me wrong. You have Malik
He's
Monk.
been good. I like
He's
him.
been very good.
He hasn't been this good until like this year. Like, so let's not.
But you also see You also see
He
weird
had
stuff
the
happening.
ability though in Charlotte.
Oh no, right. But like, don't tell me you brought in Malik Monk because you knew he was going to be your second option. Like that, you got.
And that's what he is now. And
Like,
you know, on defense, he's not the strongest defensive player. You know who the savior of this team is right now? LeBron aside is Austin Reeves.
Reeves?
Yes. Without Austin Reeves, this team would have lost so many games. He is a dead-eye three-point shooter. He doesn't miss foul shots, and he plays very strong defense. And
He hustles too.
he's
Very hustler.
he's a bully underneath the rim. He's not afraid to take contact. That's what the Lakers are missing. That's why they signed Stanley Johnson when they had him on a 10-day
I was about to
contract.
mention that, yeah.
Because they were surely lacking physicality. They're surely lacking that physical mental attack. I mean, LeBron has never had that since he's been in the league. LeBron really never was like, all right, I'm going to go kill this person. No, that's not LeBron. Sure, he had it when he was 19, 20, when he had a chip on his shoulder, but it's different now. He's got 4 rings. He's got MVPs. He doesn't need to do that anymore. Pelinka needs to realize that and build a team around him better than what he has.
There were reports that came out that Pelinka and Jeannie Buss purposely made no moves at the deadline just to spite LeBron James and Rich Paul. Now, if that's true, you might be the dumbest people in the business. So you're just going to tank the season because they said that they were bullied into trading for Westbrook because they wanted Buddy Hield.
Well, also, you know,
and LeBron forced them to trade for
Oh,
Westbrook.
also,
So now they told him, suck it up.
Saito, also, could that be like a little, their actions of that, if it's reported true or not, after LeBron's statement saying whatever his son goes, he's going? Because
But
he might be.
listen, that's
I wanted to, but I
LeBron ain't gonna be on the Lakers that long. I'll tell you that
I'm not
right now.
gonna be-
Well, but here, I thought that
He's out of
this
there.
was a known fact. When he signed the contract with the Lakers extension, it expired the year his son is eligible for the draft. So I thought common knowledge was he set it up like that perfectly so he'd play with his son. So when this came out this weekend, I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a story because
It's obvious.
he's
That's
a
gonna be
free
so
agent when his
goated.
son is-
That's gonna be so
I didn't
goated.
think we need to really talk about it.
Oh, it's side topic. Do you think that's gonna overhype Bronny? I'm guessing so.
His son's a top 20 player in the country already. Like, people are trying to say, oh, he's just trying to build his son's draft stock. He's a top 20 player in high school. What's he got to build his draft stock
Right.
for?
He's actually good.
Yeah, like, he's good. Like,
it's
Right.
not like he's just
You know,
running
we're
off his
not
dad's
talking like
name.
it's Dwayne Wade's son who couldn't even get a D1 offer, really. Like,
Just to
we're
touch back up
trying.
on top of the
Yeah.
the Lakers team. If you also look at the history of the Lakers, the ownership and the Lakers and the GMs of the Lakers, they don't pay people. Like, you got your superstars, and that's really it. Like, you look at Kobe got paid because he's Kobe and he was the Lakers organization. But other than that, who else gets paid in the Lakers organization?
Shaq.
Anthony Davis got paid because they really had no other option. They traded everything they had for him. So they're like, okay, AD's here, we're going to pay him. But
We're
you
gonna
don't
have to
go
agree
out
to
in free
disagree,
agency,
bro.
you don't get anybody. Who did you get in free agency?
Shaq.
No, I'm talking about this year.
But you're saying.
Well, okay,
This
even in
year-
the past, okay, you paid Kobe and Shaq. Congratulations. You paid
And
two
then
of the
they
top
made-
5 players ever.
Kareem?
A blockbuster trade to bring in Paul Gasol. They brought in Dwight
A
Howard.
blockbuster trade. It was not a blockbuster trade. They traded Kwame Brown.
Right, but it was a
That's
big
not a
name.
blockbuster trade.
The
It's
name
Marcus
they brought in,
Gasol,
Paul Gasol wasn't one
Paul
of the top
Gasol was a
three.
rookie. It was not a blockbuster trade. They took a chance
I
on
thought it
him.
was Blockbuster.
It was
It was
not
a
a blockbuster
blockbuster
trade.
Because Marcus Gasol for Paul Gasol.
It was not a blockbuster trade at any
They gave up
means.
the rights to Marc Gasol.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they had the rights for Marc Gasol.
I mean, they
Yeah,
also,
okay, let's look at the free agents that they passed up on.
Dwight Howard. They had
DeMar DeRozan.
they had the trade for Chris Paul, but the league vetoed it. So to say that the Lakers don't
They
make
don't
big
spend
moves
money,
crazy.
is what I'm saying. Sure, they make trades. They don't spend money.
Okay, but when they make the trades, they pay the contract too.
Because
This
they
isn't-
have no other option because they give up so much for the trade. And who do they trade and pay for? Paul Gasol? Okay, they're forced the hand to do it. They don't pay people. Why do they not go out and get DeMar DeRozan? Why do they not go out and force Paul George's hand to come play for them? Why do they not go out and get Damian Lillard or
Paul George
Kawhi
wasn't-
Leonard?
Paul George wasn't a free agent; it was a trade.
Yeah.
Kawhi
I don't
Leonard-
think
Kawhi
those
Leonard,
guys
they were- Kawhi Leonard,
don't
they
want to
were
play
all
with
in on
LeBron.
Kawhi didn't want to go there.
I
So you can't
don't
blame
want to
him.
hear that don't want to play with LeBron shit. People want to play
I
with
didn't say they
LeBron.
want to play with LeBron.
No, I said that.
Kawhi,
I said that.
no, Kawhi, they were all in on Kawhi. They thought they were getting Kawhi, and he spited them. So you can't say that they're in on all these people. They can't help if the people aren't choosing them.
Why? You wonder why?
But You're saying they're not. It's not.
The contract is not. The contract's on the table. If they go to the interview, if you go to a job interview and they offer you $50,000, and then you have another job interview the next day and they offer you $70,000, which are you going to take?
Give me a list of the players that said I didn't go to LA because I didn't get paid enough.
Who's going to say that?
Because it's not. What do you mean? Who's going to say that?
Who's going to come out and say that?
When people sign with another team, they say it because they didn't offer me enough money. I got more money offered from this guy.
Robot man, Kawhi Leonard ain't saying shit like that.
That's one guy. But again, every time a player accepts another contract, they say this one gave me more. This one didn't. It's a known fact.
It's also a known fact that the ownership in Los Angeles and the Lakers team don't pay perennial players for some reason.
That's a lie and a half.
Look it up. You got a computer right in front of you. Use your Google and look it up.
We've had some of the best
players
like this.
Hold on. Time out.
They're a top-heavy organization since
LeBron, AD. But you're right. They don't pay big time players.
Yes, like I just said, they're a top-heavy organization since 1999.
I'll give y'all like 20 more seconds.
Free agents.
Why are they top-heavy? Because they pay the best players in the league.
Because they pay the best players. They don't pay anybody else. Pay your people. Pay the people to stay.
How could you pay everybody else if you're paying two?
All right. Yo, Kenny.
You make it work.
Yo, listen. Yo,
How
we're gonna change.
How did Golden State do it?
We're gonna change the subject. Hold on.
How did Golden State do it?
Don't just cut us
Bro,
off.
listen.
Y'all, because those guys took pay cuts.
So they still got paid.
But they got pay cuts.
They got paid. They got paid. They got pay cuts, but they still got paid.
Agree to disagree.
You know why this conversation is going this way? You're not talking about winners. There's losers right now, so the energy is bad in the conversation. We're going to switch it up a little bit, and we talked about the losing side of every fucking thing so far. The winning side so far, man. All right. What do y'all think about Golden State and when they get fully healthy? Because they're winning a lot of games right now. They're second in the West. They're sitting at 42-17. What do y'all think when they get Draymond and Wiseman back? Do you think they're contenders?
It's gonna get scary when they get Draymond back because the Warriors' defense has been lacking ever since Draymond got hurt. But because they need that defensive leader who does a lot. He does all on offense. He's the second point guard, and he's also the leader on defense. Wiseman, rebounds, shot blocking. They just need defense. Once they get that defense together and they get Clay, Draymond, Steph all back together, I think they'll definitely make a run.
I mean, the Warriors are scary. They've been scary. I think with Andrew Wiggins on the team, that adds another scoring option. And everybody forgets about Otto Porter. Otto Porter was a great player when he first got into the league until he got injured, and Washington was just dog shit. He really didn't have a chance. He really didn't have a chance to play ball. He got hurt, and they kind of just sucked after that. Now he's in a winning organization with winning players around him, and it's starting to show Otto Porter can actually play ball a little bit. We know. We watched him play basketball. Kenny and I watched him play basketball in college. He was a great basketball player.
He was one of the best players in college basketball.
Yeah. Also,
Steve Kerr's got great rotations, too, with the Warriors. I don't know if you guys watch.
Take notes, New York. Thibodeau.
Oh, Lord. He's a terrible coach.
Oh, also, if Jordan Poole can, control the shot selections, I think that would be a great, move for the Warriors because he's been, known to have some crazy shot selections during the game.
He's been the X factor though for them when Klay was out. They didn't miss a beat. How many people can lose a guy like Klay Thompson and it doesn't affect them?
Him during his first game, the first half of the season, where I think he tied up the game. It was wild. It was a great game.
Kuminga, you got Jordan Poole.
Kuminga is a great piece. I love Kuminga.
I said the scariest thing about the Warriors was that they had that lottery pick that one year because we knew they were just going to retool anyways. Then you gave them a top 5 pick. My goodness, that's just not fair.
And Moses Moody, who has limited minutes, but he's a good shooter. Perkins. Yeah, he's been killing it in the G League, and if let him develop a little bit more, and I think he could be a great piece for the Warriors as well.
The Warriors are definitely. I mean, listen, you got Steph Curry and you got Klay Thompson. You really don't need much more than that, to be honest. I mean, Klay Thompson is maybe playing at 45% health right now. I also think if Klay Thompson gets hurt one more time, I think he might have to hang it up because you could see the effects of all the injuries starting to pile on. I mean, he's short on a lot of jump shots that he's usually hitting. You could see him on the defensive end. Klay Thompson was a top 10 defensive player in the league before he got all these injuries. Like, people forget about that. Like, oh, Klay Thompson, the other splash brother. Okay, when the Warriors were a dynasty, they were also a top 2 defensive team in the league.
One of the best two-way players in the league.
And Klay Thompson was a big reason for that. Granted, you had Draymond Green, and that's just, you know.
I mean, are we really going to talk about this? Because if we are, I think that's the most.
We're going to need another 30 minutes.
That players get worse with LeBron. What? Wade was not worse with LeBron. The last couple of years he was because he was on the tail end of his career. Kevin Love was only worse because it was a third option. Obviously, your number is going to go down when you don't get as many touches. And AD has not been worse with LeBron. He just hasn't. The 1 year he's healthy, they won a championship together. So to say that Wade, Love, and AD got worse because of LeBron James is dumb.
I mean, if you're looking at players getting worse with LeBron, I would love to see some examples of
who got better.
No, I would love to see examples of who you are saying that got worse, because if you look at
said Wade, Love, and AD.
He said Wade, Love, and AD.
I mean, franchises get worse when he leaves.
Where does he say that?
He said that in the chat. I pinned it right here.
Yeah.
Oh, be it Wade, Love, AD. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, Kevin Love also comes off from. He also comes from Minnesota, where he averaged 18 and 18. So that just wasn't going to happen. And the league completely changed when he came to Cleveland. And he also had 2 career-ending or season-ending injuries when he was in Cleveland. Also, and he still won a championship.
He's been a solid role player for the Cavs too. Hit like corner threes, decent rebounder.
I mean, he was
like a young team.
I mean, I think Love is a bad option, a bad example for that. If you're gonna look at people that quote unquote got worse when playing with LeBron, go to his years at the Heat.
Mario Chalmers.
Chris Bosh had career years with LeBron, coming from the number 1 option in Toronto, and he still put up career numbers playing with LeBron. Dwayne Wade being the number 1 option, Flash, all that shit. Said, I'll play second fiddle LeBron, still put up career numbers and assists and defensive numbers. Sure, his points dropped, but you had LeBron.
That's gonna happen, yeah.
You look at people that got paid because of LeBron. There's tons of people around the league that get paid because of LeBron. It's kind of like the Aaron Donald effect. You get paid because of somebody making you look better. I mean, I swear to God, I could score 9 points playing with LeBron. Corner threes.
You think about after the championship in the bubble, all those people went to separate teams and got paid.
Well, Kyle Kuzma.
Look at it. His first stint in Cleveland, people were convinced Mo Williams was an all-star.
Yeah,
that's a fact. I remember that. They were like, "Well, Williams is the truth."
I'm just so if you want to give me those examples and say that those 3 are
Delonte
true,
West,
right? If you want to say those 3 are true, that he made them bad, they're not. But let's just say that's true. I can give you 10 times the amount of people he's played with that he's made better.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole mantra behind LeBron is not
Chetty Osman person to play with. I love Chetty Osman.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are naming people that are still good role players in the NBA. I'll give you one name. I'll give you one name right now. You're gonna be like, oh yeah, Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah, no.
Matthew Dellavedova was a starting point guard playing with LeBron.
The Curry stopper.
And got like 4 different contracts with other teams because of LeBron. So I mean, say what you will. Right. There's LeBron haters everywhere.
To be honest, he's probably the most balanced basketball player. And the only thing that's bad is the free throw shooting. Free throw shooting is atrocious.
Also, he's top 5 in turnovers of all time. But that's not that important.
Yeah, when you play 75,000 games, you're gonna have turnovers.
Listen, at the end of the day, when you talk about LeBron James,
people are gonna nitpick and everything. So.
When you talk about LeBron James, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to say the leading scorer, rebounder, and assister in the history of the league.
Right.
So, let say what you will.
And for people to say he's not a scorer, though, that is
I think Shaq had an interview about it too.
I think
Shaq said in an interview that if LeBron passes Kareem or when he passes it, it's gonna be tough to have that.
When he passes Kareem,
he doesn't care about championships. That's what he's trying to do.
When he passes Kareem,
he has 4. Like what else do I need to prove to you? I've gotten there 10 times and I won 4.
Bro, he's 30. He's 30. He's 37 years old and he averages 29 points.
At some point in my lifetime, I would like to sit down with somebody who takes the Jordan side and talk to them about who had the harder career, because who did Michael play against compared to who did LeBron play against? Oh, but Neil, those Detroit Pistons. Okay, LeBron James came back down 3-1 against quote unquote the best team of all time.
I mean, technically,
Hold
they
on,
were.
hold
They
on.
were
He
7-3-9.
said I want to have a sit down with somebody, and then proceeded to have a conversation with himself.
Well, I was playing the other half.
Right.
Oh man.
Now,
He's role playing. He's role playing. Yeah.
you know what it is? It's the same argument that I have right now with people that, which, I mean, you could say I'm crazy for this, but listen, Shohei Ohtani is one of the best players of all time. You say what you will about Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth played against FedEx delivery drivers.
He didn't play against any minorities, so the league wasn't integrated yet either.
He literally
He ain't see those abilities yet.
He literally played against. He literally played against. He played against literal milkmen. Like they literally got done delivering milk.
It's serious.
Four or five.
Also, Shohei is pitching and hitting at the same time. Babe Ruth never did that. He was a pitcher for one team, and then he was a hitter with the
He was a pitcher for the Red Sox and a hitter for the Yankees.
And I also will bring that argument over to the NBA side of things. Okay, I mean, Michael had competition, right? But Michael played against Karl Malone, who won league MVPs. Karl Malone. So let's put LeBron in Michael's era, and Karl Malone's has what, 2 league MVPs, I believe.
Bro, Karl Malone averaged 28. You're telling me Bron couldn't average 35?
Karl Malone.
Michael would average 37 in today's league, and LeBron would average 37.
Now the argument both ways.
We gotta set this up.
No, it's hard because you got to get somebody. You got to get somebody that doesn't know us.
And they got to actually be ready to sit here and come with facts, not just now LeBron.
Yelling
LeBron's
matches, yes.
Like no, like I'm not.
He's a pussy.
You got to get somebody that's not Lawrence. You got to get somebody that's not from Utica, New York. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's very possible. I wasn't trying to do that anyway.
You know, I hear somebody from Utica say, he flops.
They don't like LeBron because they're fucking losers. That's why.
Exactly.
That's what the heart of the issue is with him.
Yeah. And then just to bring it back real quick before we move on, I also think the influence that the European League has on the NBA nowadays has changed the game completely.
Absolutely.
I mean, you look at people like Luka Doncic, who's 22 years old, averaging a fucking triple-double. Nikola Jokic, who's 23 years old, averaging a fucking triple-double. Like, these guys are not...
Whoa. He's 23?
Jokic, 23, 24?
He's young.
He's pretty... I mean, his oldest is 26. He's not much older than that. But I'll look it up real quick.
I thought he was older than that.
27
himself as well.
27, yeah. I was about to say 28,
He
27.
just turned 27 this week.
He just turned 27 2 days ago.
Okay.
But either way, 27 years
in
old.
good hands, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you got this, like, Michael didn't really play against European players like that. Like he did
He
have
the best European player. He had Tony Kukoc. The only European player that was valid at that time was on his team.
Yeah, the Nets had somebody too. I can't. Ivan Dragic.
No.
Dragon. What's his name?
Drazen Petrovic?
Petrovic. Yeah. Petrovic, who's one of the best European players to ever play.
Yeah.
That boy's a bucket.
So,
but see, like we know them off the top of our head. Like there's so many now. Like I couldn't name you all the good European players in the NBA right now.
Right. Like that's what I'm saying. I mean, the league is different now. You know, AI said it. People are starting to say it now. You know, LeBron is doing shit that no motherfucker is ever gonna do.
Right.
We are never, ever gonna see another LeBron James ever. Just like we'll never, ever see another Michael Jordan ever. But granted,
Kobe Bryant.
Michael Jordan played at a different time. You know what I mean? The league was completely different. 3-point shots were really not a thing. Like you had a 3-point specialist on the team. Like you had a couple 3-point specialists on the team. That's why people say Michael Jordan had the best mid-range game ever. Yeah, because that's what the NBA was. The NBA was mid-range games, layups, and dunks. Like, granted, you really did not shoot 3-pointers like that. Like Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr and John Paxson would not have a job today in the NBA because they
passed and shot threes.
Was they were shooting threes.
Right.
Now everyone can shoot the 3-pointer.
Right.
Also another thing from the EuroLeagues, that's shooting big men as well, Dirk, etc.
Big men didn't shoot threes. Big men didn't shoot foul shots back then.
That's what the fact that Kukoc was shooting back then
Right.
was crazy. People were like, "What do you mean this guy?"
Very big thing from EuroLeague.
Yeah, I mean, your typical big man in that era was like a Karl Malone, you know, some big bruiser.
Robinson, etc.
Ewing, like those.
Yeah,
were,
exactly.
Like,
your big bruisers, your
if they
dunkers,
took
your
a mid-range
blockers.
jumper, you were like, "What?"
Shaq made a three.
Got Hakeem too.
Yeah, it's just different, man. It's different times.
So
I mean, Michael Jordan would be unguardable in this era too because you can't touch him.
100%.
Anytime you touch him, it's a foul. So he would average probably 30 foul shots a game.
At the same time, I heard
like
Colin
James
Howard
Harden?
say it this week. He made a good point too. He goes, "Now LeBron or Michael Jordan,
Triple step back.
amazing defender, and he still would be a great defender in today's game. But with how they officiate the game, with the lack of physicality,
He's not guarding.
He would not be the same defender that he was.
I'll tell you what,
today.
LeBron, Michael Jordan never had to guard a John Morant. I'll tell you that right now.
That's the exact example Colin
You're
Howard.
John Starks.
He said, "It's a Michael Jordan." He goes, "Great defender." He goes, "No hand checking." He is not stopping John Morant.
No, he's not, and he would have a hard time guarding the faster, quicker people. That you see guys that Allen Iverson was like that, right? And Michael Jordan's
averaging 40 in today's.
And Michael Jordan, there's one of my favorite highlights ever. Michael Jordan guarded AI's first year in the league. AI crossed him up. So
You said it was a carry.
it was not no carry.
All right, y'all brought up John Morant, man. One of my favorite teams in the league to watch is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Love the Grizzlies.
They got everybody on their roster is under 28 years old,
Except for Steven Adams.
which is incredible.
Steven
And
Adams.
right now,
Another underrated center.
right now they're really killing. What's your
They
guys'
can't
thoughts
switch
on
them.
them? Do you think they're too young to contend?
No way.
without
Big threat.
experience?
Let
Big
me ask
threat.
Big threat.
What's
Right.
the difference between them and last year's Suns?
Chris Paul.
Well, yeah,
Chris
but
Paul.
that's what
Yeah, Chris Paul.
No, but I'm saying like they're super young and they have one veteran, obviously Steven
Chris
Adams,
Paul and their
not
coach.
Chris Paul,
I
but
think
my
their coach
point
is-
Yeah, Chris Paul's a huge difference.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
well,
but
and
I'm
Phoenix's
saying, though,
coach.
Yeah.
But the thing is though, like I'm not going to say they're too young for that reason. Like we've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Like it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're a huge threat. I 100%. I think Desmond Bane is definitely an X factor for that team. Boy can go out and get you 8 threes if he really, when he's on fire.
Triple J.
Jaren Jackson is a monster. Steven Adams gives you that low big man presence that you need in the playoff series like that.
Just not 8 points, but
Man, we'll give
you. That's a different story.
you
Jaren
say?
Jackson is the truth, man.
But he can't give you 8 points on some nights.
My man can
Ah.
block. He can block 5.
Only
he can
can
block
But he's
4 or
not there
5
for
shots.
that. You got John Morant who averages
Right.
28 a game.
Right.
Absolutely.
Was he talking
Noted.
about sports betting?
Yeah, I think so.
Real pain.
Yeah, that's painful.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think
yeah.
they're a real threat, and the thing that makes them such a big threat is the way that they match up with other teams in the West, right? Like they have an answer for every one of your players. Like John Morant, sure, he's 28, 28 points a game and is a good point guard, but don't sleep on him on defense either. He's a very good defender. He's a very sneaky defender. He can get you steals. He can get you blocks. He fucking jumps out of the fucking gym, man. He's a very good defender. Like Stephen Curry. Is Steph Curry guarding John Morant? Absolutely not. No. So that's where your
That's a
matchup.
long game for him.
The way I look at teams in the league, if they can contend for a championship, is can you make matchup problems for the other team in a 7-game series? And the way the Memphis Grizzlies match up, like I think they struggle against the Suns, but I think they beat the Warriors, and I definitely think they smoke the Jazz and the Lakers as they're constructed.
The
Lakers aren't even contenders right now. Like,
yeah, the Lakers, the way they're
Oh.
constructed right now, are not even contenders.
Also, no one takes the Jazz seriously in the playoffs, anyways.
No, it's sad, but like until
It's
the
true.
Jazz
Donovan
get to the
Mitchell's out
finals,
there.
it's just never like I'm never.
They run the table in the West, and then they
It's
get
like
to
the
playoffs
Atlanta
and see you later.
Hawks and the Toronto Raptors of the early 2000s there.
It's almost the same coach.
Or the Hawks that one year where they went on
That's
an absolute
exactly-
tear.
yeah,
2015?
They won 70 games.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
like, even
They
the
had 5 All-Stars?
even the Bucks
They almost
until
survived.
last year, it's like okay, you got to prove it to me. Like I'm not believing until you show me.
Yeah, and they made no significant moves either, just by adding Jordan Clarkson, and that's it.
Yeah. The Bucks were 2 inches away from not being in the championship
Right,
game.
no, but,
so
but I'm like that was that's a comparable until you prove to me you can do it.
right.
And
Right.
that's where I am with the Jazz. Like
Yeah, I really like the Grizzlies, man.
I just don't think they got the chance, to be honest, because I think if I don't know when Donovan Mitchell's contract's up, but I think he's out of there.
Yeah, I honestly, I think for the Grizzlies, depending on where they land in the standings, that is gonna, for the playoffs, I think that'll help them out a lot. But I think they easily can make a Western Conference Finals. If they do, they better hope they don't play the Suns. I think the Suns are going to win the championship this year, personally.
You think they're going to win it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
also, Chris
I
Paul's
think the
out for
Suns
4 to 6 weeks, I believe, so we're going to see how they work without Chris Paul, so it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
He's out with the
that's
hand
true,
injury.
yeah.
Oh, by the way, Donovan Mitchell re-signed with the Jazz. He's there until 2026.
Oh, he's an idiot.
When did he do that?
Well, the extension just kicked in this year, so
Well, I'll tell you what. What's gonna happen?
Poor guy.
What's gonna happen is you know that that's there now.
Opt
and
out.
You look at your coaching situation with Quinn Snyder. Yes, he's a great coach, but this is your year, Quinn Snyder. You got maybe one more year. I'd say if you can't get the job done in the playoffs, he's out.
I mean, you think you
Well,
get
I would also
you
look
get
at the
them another
GM as well.
piece. They could do
Yeah.
something. Like I mean, Rudy Gobert is no
yeah.
slouch. Donovan Mitchell, get them another piece. Like what
Also,
do we-
Rudy Gobert hasn't been known to be an amazing playoff player. Like, and I think in the playoffs he averages like 10-10. So that's your like floor with him. He hasn't had like great games in the playoffs. But I wouldn't blame it entirely on Quinn Snyder. I'd probably look at the general manager position office instead of him because I feel like they need to upgrade. Like having Bogdan and Joe Ingles, non-athletic people who can shoot. I think they need some athleticism at the wings.
Well, Ingles
so.
is out, so he ain't there
Yeah.
anymore.
But, well,
What it-
part of the problem is
He's going back though. So.
part of the problem is what free agent is saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Utah." The only way they're getting players is by trade. Like it's just, you're just not.
I mean-
it's like the OKC problem. Nobody is signing up to go and play in these cities. Like
Dwayne Wade literally gonna have to talk to them themselves for them to sign to Utah.
Are you guys considering the Bulls to be contenders for the East?
No.
I was until these moves went down. Like it's just tough to say.
Yeah,
that.
I don't like the Bulls. I like the Bulls to get to the playoffs, obviously. But I like the Bulls, maybe a second round exit. I don't see them beating the Nets. I don't see them beating the Bucks. I don't see them beating the Sixers.
The East is nice. You got right now. You got the Heat, Bulls, 76ers, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics, Raptors, and then the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see in a 7-game series. I don't see them beating 4 of those teams. I see the Cavs beating them in 7 games. Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland. I think is a bit huge. I mean, they got fucking whatchamacallit from Indiana now too.
Karis LeVert. Also,
So-
Okoro's not so slouch.
I think the Cavs are a sleeper team to watch in the East as well. They pose a big matchup problems all around. Their bench is pretty good too. And they're well coached. And honestly, as much as I hate to say it, the Celtics could do some damage too. They just got to get in.
Right, they're sitting at 6 right now. So who do you guys think is going to finish at the top of each conference?
I'd say 1, 2, 3. Are we going just 1 seed, or you want to do the top?
Yeah, you go to top 3. You can do
Top 3. I'd probably say because I think it's a little too late for the Nets to finish in the top 3. I think they finished 4 or 5, but I would probably say Bucks first, second Sixers, third. I'd probably say I think the Cavs finished third for the East, and then the West Coast. I like the Suns first. Second, I like the Warriors. And then third seed, I don't know. Third seed is tough. I think the Nuggets. I think the Nuggets get up there.
Because I think John Morant should be.
You think Nuggets go on a tier like that?
Man.
Either the.
They're 8 games behind the Grizzlies right now.
Grizzlies third for them?
Yeah, they're at third.
they're third.
I'm thinking the West stays the way it is.
Yeah, I think Grizzlies holds.
I think. Well, what it comes down to for me with the Nuggets is when they get their point guard back.
It should be.
That's
Yeah, it
true.
should be like
That's-
3-4
that's a good
Like,
point.
Everybody forgets about him. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
holding on.
24 a
Listen.
game.
Listen, when Jamal Murray comes back,
That's 24 a
Yeah,
game.
man.
spooky.
Because
Right.
Joker
That's gonna get
Joker
spooky.
right now is single handedly like
Getting them
carrying
into top
crazy.
5 of the league.
If everything holds like it is right now, and the Nuggets are the 6th seed, and the Grizzlies are the 3 seed, and we get treated to that lovely matchup round 1,
That'd be
Jamal Murray
amazing.
versus John Morant.
It'd be
Oh,
amazing.
that's appointment television.
Yeah, I mean, people listen for basketball fans that are just starting to tune in this year because of COVID or whatever. Y'all forget about what old boy did for that Nuggets team before he got his knee torn up. All right, like that team was going to the Western Conference Finals. Like that
see
team
how
was
it-
going to the finals.
The way that everybody is talking about John Morant now, that's how we were talking about Jamal Murray. Like,
Jamal Murray was tearing it up. I mean, he was averaging like 30 plus a game, and he was really carrying that team. So I think Jamal Murray is a huge piece for that team. I don't know when he's coming back.
I was about to say, what's his timetable?
Well, he got injured. He's been out for almost a year now. So ACL, I don't know if they're rushing him back. I don't know if they plan to even bring him back before playoffs. But if that's
Yeah,
the case,
if
if
we're gonna make
Jamal
the
Murray
playoffs-
doesn't come back for playoffs, then I think it's going to be 1, 2, 3. I think we got either Chris Paul just got injured. So I'm going to go Warriors, Suns, and Grizz for the top 3 in the East or the West.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I like that. For the East, I'm going with.
I think the Heat are
I'm
going to
gonna.
slide.
I'll go with the Bucks. I think that's a solid pick that you made there. 2, I'm gonna go. I think the Heat hold there, and I'm gonna put the Bulls at 3.
Really, you think the Bulls? Oh
Yeah,
my God! You know what? And I completely forgot.
It's close.
The Bulls,
It's
well,
really,
the Bulls,
really close.
The Bulls been playing without LaMelo Ball or Lonzo Ball.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying. That's
I
what
forgot all about
Exactly.
that. I
And
forgot all
Caruso.
about that.
And Caruso.
And Caruso.
And Caruso.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
Derek-
I'm saying, bro.
Derek Jones
Yeah.
too, right?
And they second in the East.
I think he
I
just,
like
I think he came back before the All-Star break.
Yeah,
Derek Jones?
They're like limited. Yeah.
I like them to stay in the top 3. Like I don't think that they.
Wow, that team. Honestly,
it's
if you're
tough,
looking
though.
at
I mean,
the
I don't know,
Bulls,
like-
like if you're looking at the Bulls right now, you're looking at Nikola Vucevic, you're looking at DeMar DeRozan, you're looking at
MVP
Zach
season.
LaVine,
A
and you're
banged
looking
up
at
Zach LaVine.
Lonzo.
Right, so far, it's been a banged up.
And he's
Buckets.
reported to come back after.
And you're also
You got
looking.
Kobe White too.
Oh,
He's
and
super.
you're also looking at one of the best benches in the NBA. You got Ayo Dosunmu is
like obviously
a
injuries are
walking
never a good
double-double.
thing, but for the Bulls, the injuries may have been the best thing to happen to them because Ayo was not touching the floor. He had to get thrust into, and now he's like, "Whoa, look what we found!"
So when you do need him, he's ready.
Yeah, and also you know who
Battle
else?
tested.
I mean, they have Javonte Green also on the team who can go out and get you 20 if you need to off the bench.
It's
Former
tough. Like
Thunder.
I don't want to pick
Right.
them over some of these teams.
It's so close. It's so close, man.
That's
Yeah.
a scary team in the playoffs. I don't want to see that team in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's
I
for sure.
just like how they're all formed together.
But you know what? You know what I see there though? I see who's guarding Giannis on that team.
Right. That's very true.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? At least with the Nets and the Sixers, you have somebody that can, be affordable against Giannis. But you look at, DeMar DeRozan ain't guarding Giannis. Vucevic ain't guarding Giannis. Who's guarding Giannis on that team?
You got to throw a couple bodies at him.
They're going to make DeMar DeRozan guard Giannis.
It's too bad Patrick Williams is injured. I think he would have been a decent player against Giannis.
Right.
And DeMar's a walking microwave too. My son is getting to a bucket.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know who plays. I don't know who plays against Giannis in that matchup.
Yeah. I'll say Bucks, Sixers, Bulls for me. And I agree with the West.
I like that.
Yeah, I definitely should have said Sixers somewhere up there because
I think
Do y'all believe in the Heat?
I don't believe in them as contenders, but they're the 1 seed now, so I can see them staying in the top 4.
Listen, don't count the goal out, LBJ, bro. He cannot do it all on his own at 37 anymore. Okay,
He's 37.
not with those stacked ass team of the West. Listen, the West is too stacked for him to go in there with him
promise you.
and
No,
old Russ.
but listen,
I promise you,
beating
you're not
them.
finding a bigger LeBron defender than me, probably, but we got to face facts, bro. Like,
It's not happening, bro.
right, like,
What if he does this?
oh, if he does, there's no question. But I'm just saying.
It all depends on what.
If you're asking me logically, I can't say that. Oh yeah,
No.
Lakers are gonna win.
Listen, as somebody who comes on here and tries to give you facts about sports and an unbiased position at sports, I love LeBron more than anybody in the league.
I don't need him to do this to be the GOAT.
Don't count him out. I have to, bro, because at this point,
Count him out. See you later.
if he does, he's the GOAT. No, listen, I already think he's the GOAT.
right, like you're missing this. Like we don't. None of us here think.
Oh, that was Ramar.
Here's
Let's
the
go,
thing.
bro.
Right now they're the 9 seed, which means they'd have to win 2 games to get to the.
He said no
playoffs,
more MJ.
Which means they're the 8 seed. Which means as it stands today, they've played the Suns. They are not beating the Suns in a 7-game series.
Bro,
They are not
Anthony
beating the
Davis is
Warriors
out.
in a
Anthony
7-game
Davis is
series.
out for at least a month,
Yeah.
if not more.
It's looking real.
DeAndre
It's looking
Ayton is
real.
averaging 20 and 10 every single game in that series.
Yeah, it's just you got to look at who they're going to be playing.
Yeah, it's not good.
If they somehow magically can play the Jazz, maybe they can beat the Jazz. Like,
Right.
Bro, I'll tell you what, bro. Listen, that team, Dwight Howard is not the same man that he was even 2 years ago than he is right now. So, and who else you got? DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan is probably going to retire after this year. So that team is, like I said at the beginning of the year. I wish we could go back to our preview of the NBA season, and I said this then. The Los Angeles Lakers are a senior citizen team. All right? Like, yes, you've got LeBron. Yes, you've got Glassman AD. But other than that, man, everybody else is fresh off the Sunset Woods on Genesee Street.
He said on Genesee Street.
But I'm still telling you,
Spirit
Anthony
change.
Davis being hurt is what tanked this team. like yes, I'm not saying they were constructed the best. You're not wrong, but
I mean, LeBron James missed 20 games this year.
no, right. I hear you. But when your young superstar who was tabbed as the next best player in the league can't stay on the floor, you're done.
But man, last question of the night. It's been a heated race for MVP. Who you guys got for top 3, man?
Top 3 MVP?
Top 3 MVP. What's up? Talk.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Joel.
I'm gonna go.
Going straight out, right?
I'm gonna go Jokic. I'm gonna go Joel, and I'm gonna go John Morant.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna say Embiid first, Ja second, and then I'm gonna put Joker third.
Honestly, right now for me, it's Joel's MVP to lose.
It's like what he's doing is just
he's the leading scorer in the NBA,
literally
averaging a
carrying the team on his
double-double.
back.
Yeah, I mean he's unstoppable right now. I mean, and you know what? The best part about his game right now is everybody was saying, "Oh, trust the process." Well, Joel Embiid can't stay on the floor. Look what Joel Embiid can do when he stays on the floor. All right, the boy is a boy. He's gotten bigger. I mean, we can all see that. Like he has gotten bigger, right? Like he can take hits now. Sure,
About time, trust the process.
Sure, you get nervous, right? Like you get nervous every time he goes down, and there's always that minute where he could hurt his back and be out for 2 months. But you know, I think he's healthy as ever been, and he's averaging 40 and 10.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, for me, the edge that Embiid has over Jokic and Morant. Obviously, we know they're all good on offense, but the defensive side is where it really sets them apart from those two guys. Just rebounds, shot blocking, and just being a presence in the paint. That's what really separates from the other two guys.
yeah, but you could say that about Jokic too, being
I'm not
the
as good as
assisting.
Embiid, though.
No, but I'm saying the assist side of it.
Right.
Because
Embiid's as good as my
Jokic
assist.
averages more assists than both.
He's been doing that though.
Well, but you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, so Joel's been doing that on defense then, so you can't use that as a...
Bro, what he's doing is different this year though. Like it's on a whole nother level. That Bucks game, incredible. Like he has literally nobody. Maxi's head is spinning off. He doesn't know what he's doing at point guard.
Lawrence, pin that comment, Lawrence. Pin that comment. Come on,
ding,
bro.
ding, ding.
Come on, bro.
Kenny's about to start cracking his fingers.
Come on, bro.
I'll say 4 or 5. I'm gonna say 4 or 5.
You said 4 or 5?
I'll say 4, 5, 6.
So back to, not to get off the MVP content, but just back to earlier what I was saying about what gives your team advantage over another team in the playoff series is matchup errors. The Celtics don't match up like that for anybody, especially in the East. Because I mean, yeah, like Jason Tatum is a matchup problem for anybody he plays against. But
your small forward is your tallest player.
That's the thing. Like you really
isn't he like 6'8", and then Williams is like
6'8".
Yeah,
Phil, who's your big man is not a big man.
Like that's
your team.
Phil, who's your point guard though?
Derek White.
Your point guard?
Derek White / Marcus Smart.
No.
See, Jaylen Brown.
I'm asking. I'm not even being funny.
Marcus Smart was out. Derek White has been starting. I just really like the addition of Derek White because he facilitates. He's a good big guard defender. He does everything that the Celtics missed at point guard. He's a better facilitating Marcus Smart. And a better
shooter. I mean, I just don't see the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics lose to the Bulls. The Celtics lose to the Nets. The Celtics lose to the Bucks. The Celtics lose to the Cavs.
Can I be honest? You can clip this. The Celtics are probably going to be in the play-in. Because think about it. They're sitting at the 6th seed right now. Toronto's on their heels. And Brooklyn's going to get their dogs back.
But who, John? Cause defensive problems for who?
For guards. That's a good backcourt duo for defense.
Who? They're not guarding Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan.
They're guarding
They're not guarding Darius Garland. They're not. Darius Garland's a fucking all-star. He is not getting locked up by Marcus Smart and Derek White.
And if they guard Milwaukee, we're just gonna give the ball to Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis is the biggest guy in the court when the Celtics play against him.
You got to choose between one of your tallest players at all the same sides: Al Horford, Robert Williams, or Tatum.
But the Bucks. Okay, that's fine. For them, man. But the Bucks still have Bobby Portis, and the Bucks still have Chris Middleton.
Exactly. So that's my point. Like, okay, you lock down their guards. Now what? Because that's not the strength of their game.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, for me, what I'm going off that statement is the guards are going to have problems for the teams.
But even Drew Holiday's not going to get locked down by them. Drew Holiday is a premier point guard. He's
Drew
not.
Holiday is his own worst enemy. He's just gonna, if he misses shots, he's gonna miss him.
Phil, Drew Holiday is not getting locked down by Marcus Smart or Derek White. Come on.
No, I like Drew Holiday. Yeah, I don't believe in that.
So at what point, what guard in the East are they locking down?
Kyle Lowry. You said East.
That's a good point. That's a good point. He would. Listen. He been since that went on the screen. He's been scanning guards in the East. That's a good one. Kyle
Trae
Lowry.
Young, not happening. LaMelo, not happening. Ben Simmons, not happening. Kyrie, not happening.
And Rozier definitely go. Woo.
Rozier lights your team up every time y'all play him.
Just because y'all did him.
I'm pretty sure Rozier averages 25 against the Celtics this year.
I bet you regret that now.
Also, whoever plays in the Knicks, but whatever guards in the Knicks. You asked them.
Okay, fair. That's fair. I think they do pose a matchup problem for the Knicks.
Yeah, you got what is this? Quickly, you got Quickly. Quickly is the starting point guard.
RJ Barrett. I mean, I don't think Marcus. I mean, Derek White can probably guard RJ Barrett pretty well. But other than that,
I think
Evan Fournier.
The Celtics fall into the 7th seed just because they have Toronto and Brooklyn behind them right now.
Right.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. Celtics. This is rough.
I mean, for me, what I think John's doing with the whole Smart and White, being such good defenders is like, yes, all of our players are almost the same height. It's just a lot of versatility on defense to be able to switch and pick up. Like, pretend KD comes, and I think in the playoffs we saw last year, they tried to do a lot of switch up matchups to try to get the big man to guard KD, and I think they'll be like more ready for that matchup when it comes because we have guards switch out on KD and different other players, so it all depends on like
switch because they're similar in height. But do you want Derek White guarding Giannis just because they all can
absolutely
guard?
not? Nope.
Is that a matchup you want?
Nope.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you put on Giannis. He's going to score. It does not matter who you put on
any team. Yeah.
Listen, but when you're looking at these teams right now, you can't say, "Oh, we're going to take away the best player," because you're not. And since when in the last 15 years have you seen somebody successfully try to take away your best player?
Also, side note, you can look up the stats and correct me. Since January 1st, the Celtics have been a top 3 defensive team in the East. I'm just saying, you guys can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But I'll say, the regular season and the playoffs are a different beast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about playoffs.
You're going to see different teams. Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about playoffs. I'm talking about are you going to stop Kyrie from getting 40 a game in a 7-game series? No.
Well, I mean, yeah. He's not going to average 40 in 7.
Well, yeah, he is because he only has to play 2 games.
Well, that's a fact.
So.
Also, I mean, just some other side notes.
Wow, yeah.
Robert Williams is having one of his best years so far out of his 3-year career.
Don't you have somebody else on the team named Grant Williams too?
Yeah.
Yes, he's also stepped up a lot. He's a better shooter.
You said what?
Tennessee's finest. He went to Tennessee.
Tennessee! You're talking about fucking college basketball. I forgot I got billions in there tonight. Back the fucking Brinks truck up for your boy.
Xavier and Providence are in overtime right now.
Kentucky it's first half, but they're down 10.
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap out about the Celtics, I think Grant Williams and Robert Williams both made huge leaps this year. Grant Williams' problem last year was scoring because he was a solid defender. He's fixed that. He's one of the best 3-point shooters statistically wise in the NBA right now. So just not trying to
just hold it, bro.
Kenny,
hold down for 5 more minutes.
Kenny,
I'm about to close the show out.
Kenny, if they do this, they're banned. If Kentucky does this, they're banned. Kenny.
Listen,
just to wrap it up, to wrap up the Celtics, I think there's a lot of players that have been stepped up. I like the addition of Derek White. He has a lot to the backcourt.
10 points, Kenny.
And I think they'll finish as a 4 or 5 seed or 6, between that range. So we move on.
Yeah. Kenny, it's LSU.
I told you that we'll talk.
All right. Any last words, man? Neil, go ahead. Now's your time. Complain. Use your last words to complain.
I don't really got much to complain about. I'm happy 2022 is so far a good year. Rams Super Bowl champs. Looking for the Nets to do something big in the NBA. We got Elden Ring coming out on Friday. So it's supposed to be a very good game. 10 out of 10 on all gaming websites. So grab that shit if you can. Let's see what else I got to say. That's really it, man. Just live your life. MLB The Show's coming out as well.
Who's on the cover?
Shohei Ohtani, the greatest player of all time, is on the cover. That's really all I got to say, man. Let's go. Let's keep it going. No, we're here for NBA content, and we're here all the. Don't ever stop. The grind don't stop. It don't fucking stop.
Kenny, what about you, man? What's your last words for the people?
I don't got nothing this week.
Got nothing?
Oh,
I
No
got
Syracuse talk?
No Heisman.
Syracuse just lost tonight.
That's not surprising.
I mean, they were on a little streak, so it kind of is. Coach K comes to the Dome for the last time this weekend, so if you got nothing else to do, that's going to be interesting.
That'd be a sweet send off.
Yeah, be nice to beat him. He actually he's lost in the Dome a couple times, so it's not
John, I said that when that was going down, but
yeah, I would have kept Terry over
Kyrie's
Kyrie.
and Manning.
I know what I had to say. Duh. The writing is on the wall. I'm not sure if you guys caught this when LeBron was talking about, playing with his son. He also called Sam Presti one of the greatest GMs and the MVP of OKC for all the things that he's done. Now, come down my rabbit hole with me for a second.
Because he has the picks during that year.
I know where this is going.
Now, don't OKC have a ton of picks that they can at their disposal? Now, can't they use some of these picks to flip it into the number 1 overall pick the year Bronny comes out? And I don't know, maybe draft Bronny with the first pick and then sign LeBron in free agency, and then maybe my Oklahoma City Thunder can get a ring?
I'm coming back. I'm back.
Kenny,
there's a lot of moving parts.
Kenny, who does LSU have? Who does LSU have, Kenny?
Team in the country, bro.
I mean, what the fucking fuck?
All right, Phil, what's your last words, man?
It's NBA season over here on IBTE Sports. I've been looking forward to this since September. Let's get it. Let's get it done. Let's go. I'm ready.
They can't do this to me, Kenny. They can't.
Also, I hope Neil's bets fail.
They cannot do this to me, Kenny. I need them to win. That's it. If Kentucky wins, I win $200.
You gonna let me close the show up?
I'm sorry.
You gonna let it finish?
Appreciate it. All right, man. Everybody keep doing what they gotta do. I want to thank everybody that's tuned in. John, Ramar, Ethan, Jared. Appreciate you for tuning in. Ed,
Otto, as always.
Otto, Derek, and what's the last thing, Phil?
So, I know I've mentioned this on several other podcasts, but I will get a rematch with Kenny and who we play for. Just counting it down. I want that rematch.
Wait, what happened?
The who we play for rematch with me. And
Kenny. I want a
rematch.
It's been a while since we didn't.
I want that run back.
I gotta work on that to see if we could put that together.
Lawrence, just look at my
Rams champions. I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
I should have sent you out there with some Rampion shirts. I could have made a killing last week.
I've been a champion, Team a champion. I'm a champion. Like, this how it goes. But man, we appreciate everybody that's tuning in to RBT Sports Podcast. We up out of here. The Rams are champions. He's been screaming it. Kenny's been screaming it the whole time.
Bang, bang.
The whole season. So
let's go.
When you're right, you're right.
I guess so.
You're right.
We up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all.